Welcome to Ohio University Intramural Sports Flag Football Captains video. This video, along with the rulebook for flag football, can help you pass your captain's quiz. Before we get into the sport-specific rules, we're going to go over some general policies and procedures for intramural sports. Listed here is our contact information. We are located in the Ping Recreation Center, and our office is open Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop by, call us, or shoot us an email. So what are your responsibilities as a captain? As a captain, we expect that you are familiar with all of our rules and policies and that you inform your teammates of all of these rules. You also need to check the eligibility of all your team members and make sure that your team on IM League meets the player minimum. And finally, as the captain, you need to set the example of sportsmanship and make sure that you are respectful of other participants and the IM staff. Here at OU, we have a couple of different league layouts. In every league and sport, we will offer Co-Ed A, Co-Ed B, men's and women's leagues. Within these different variations, we offer competitive leagues and recreation leagues. Competitive leagues have 3 regular season games and a playoff afterwards. In recreational leagues, you just have 5 regular season games and no playoffs. Game time is forfeit time. This means that if your team does not arrive on time or you do not have enough players to start the game, your team will be issued a forfeit. You can also be issued a forfeit if you are caught using an ineligible player, or if your team receives 3 yellow cards in the same game, you will receive a forfeit. Once again, game time is forfeit time, but you can default from games if you know that you will not be there. In order to default, the captain can notify us by 4 p.m. the day of your game, or by 4 p.m. on Fridays if you have a Sunday game. You can do this in person or through email. It's important to note that we do not accept defaults over the phone. If your team does forfeit a game and you are in a competitive league, you will need to pay a $20 reinstatement fee by the day before the bracket selection in order to participate in the playoffs. So who is eligible to play? Any Athens campus student enrolled in 1 credit hour is eligible to participate in intramural sports, and any faculty and staff member can participate if they purchase a faculty and staff pass. In competitive leagues, there are restrictions for club athletes and varsity athletes. If you are trying to participate on a team in a similar sport than what your club or varsity team is, the competitive leagues can only have 2 club athletes per roster, and varsity athletes cannot play in competitive leagues. Once again, this is only if it's a similar sport. Roster additions must happen online before the game begins. Players need to purchase a membership pass and add themselves to your roster before the game begins. You can purchase 3 types of membership passes: an annual pass, which will let you play any sport for the whole academic year, a semester pass, which lets you play any sport for that semester, or a season pass, which lets you play any sport for that specific season. For competitive teams, it's important to know that your rosters are locked after your last regular season game and no more additions are allowed. Each team does have a few responsibilities. Like we just mentioned, all players must have an IM Leagues account. You should try to arrive to the game 15 minutes beforehand. You must bring a government-issued ID, a photo ID, with you to your games. All players are required to wear appropriate footwear, which includes not wearing metal cleats. We also ask that all players bring a light and a dark colored jersey, but no gray, as that can be confused as light or dark. That way, if your team shows up wearing the same color as the other team, you'll already have a backup jersey to change into. Please also review the list of illegal equipment below, and note that jewelry is not accepted in any intramural sports. You are also not allowed to tape the jewelry, so please just do not wear it. Sportsmanship is very important in intramural sports. Each game you'll receive a sportsmanship grade, which is an A through an E. We then use this grade and calculate it like a GPA to find out what your sportsmanship grade really is. For competitive teams, you need to have a 2.5 to make the playoffs, and rec teams a 2.5 to stay in your league. Captains, it is your responsibility at the end of the game to approach our staff and find out what grade they gave you so that you know if it's entered right onto imleagues.com or not. And protest a few things in intramural sports: eligibility, sportsmanship, and rule misinterpretations. If you protest a rule misinterpretation, it has to happen at the field before the next dead ball. And if you protest your eligibility or sportsmanship, you may protest it at the field or by 4 p.m. the next day in writing to our office. So let's go over some flag football specific rules. Here at OU, we play flag football according to NERSA flag football rules. All games will be played at Mill Street Fields, and in men's and women's leagues, you will play with 7 players. In any co-ed games, you will play with 8 players. Usually you will play with 4 men and 4 women. However, if you don't have enough players, you can play with a ratio of 4-3 or a ratio of 3-3. The game itself is comprised of 4 10-minute quarters. The clock will run continuously until the last 2 minutes of each half and will then start and stop according to high school rules. You will have 3 timeouts for the entire game. Throughout the course of the game, in order to gain a first down, you will have 4 downs to get to the 20-yard line, then 4 downs to the 40, then the 20, and then to score. There will be no kickoffs. We do punt, but there are no kickoffs. So, after a score at the start of a half, the ball will be placed at the 14-yard line. After your team does score, you have the option to go for an extra point from the 3-yard line, the 10-yard line, or the 20-yard line, which corresponds to 1 point, 2 point, or 3 points. No pockets. This is very important to stress to your teammates that you cannot wear pockets. That means no zipper pockets, no pockets taped up, nothing turned inside out. If you do not own shorts that have no pockets, then you can rent out a pair of shorts from our field house, but you must return them at the end of your game. Some more rules about the game itself. Tying your flag belt is illegal. You just need to clip it on with the clip on the belt. And if your flags fall off during the course of play, it'll be one hand touch between the shoulders and knees. Sportsmanship is very important in intramural sports. If your team receives an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, you will automatically drop to a C for your sportsmanship grade. Spiking the ball after a score is an automatic unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Remember, after 4th down, you can punt the ball. You do not need to go for it. You just must declare what you want to do. And interceptions can be returned. Flag guarding is the most common penalty in flag football and can involve the normal running motion. If you are running and push an opponent's arm away from your flag belt, that's considered flag guarding. To show you an example, please watch the following clip. As you can see, after the catch, the receiver pushes the arm of his opponent away, and this should be called every time. In co-ed flag football, there are a few rule differences. In co-ed B, you just have the gender ratios, so just the 4 and 4, but in co-ed A, there are more differences. The 2 major ones are that you cannot have 2 plays in a row where a male passes to a male receiver, and male players cannot run the ball through the line of scrimmage unless it follows a legal forward pass or if the ball's already broken the line of scrimmage. And also in co-ed A, female scores can be worth 9 points if she is the passer or if she is the one who scores the actual touchdown. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by the Competitive Sports office. Good luck this season.